Hello everybody, Flick here and welcome to my channel update for February 2017. A quick recap of what's going on with the channel, series starting, stopping, the future, both on the YouTube side and the Twitch side, as well as some patron shoutouts which we'll start in a second, and anything else that comes to mind about how the month went and the month going forward. So without further ado, I will start with the patron shoutouts for those who supported my channel last month. Thank you very much to those who did. And while I do that, as per usual, I'm going to show off some fan art that the channel received. If you have fan art that you want to submit, you can send it to my email, but it'd be better if you tweeted it at me because then I can retweet it and you'll get a little bit of exposure. I hate using the word exposure because it's always considered so negative these days on the internet. But hey, if you're doing something fan art wise, that is the best way for me to thank you for it because about 2,000 people will see it. So that's why I would say Twitter is the best bet. Anyway, also one picture included here is one that I forgot to put in last month, so apologies for that. Anyway, enjoy these while I go over to my list. It's a very long list, so I'm glad there's lots of pictures. Thank you to Kristen Lawrence, Jarek, Garlock Thornbolt, Nathan Fraser, Taya Blake, Ashley Pfeiffer, Alexander Frasca, Taylor Ducray, Michael O'Connor III, Ryan Shell, Josh Cross, Solace Corvus, Screaming Violet, Vincent Chaos, Jared Tabor, Brian Hisu, Lex C, Richard Bearwell, Matsamuni, Blake Chaos, Kevin Mazer, Hunger Pain, Julia Cheng, Timothy Sabin, Peter Ferguson, Thaxton, Drizzen, Charlie Abrams, Megan Perry, Richard Davison, Andrew Highgate, Reaper, Rachel Weber, Loista, Seb, Michael Bigler, Brad Beck, Terrell Smith, Cubio, James Woody Packard III, Dwayne Kellogg, Colton Pierce, Reese Leon, Derek Williams, Igukski, D, Paul Mayer, That One Guy with the Face, Yuki, Charles Baker, and The Newbie. That was probably the longest list I've ever had to read out, so sincerely thank you. I also have another TXT on my other monitor, so I'll be glancing over to it with the talking points that I wanted to cover this month. So I've done patron shoutouts and fan art. Also, another thing I'd like to mention on the subject of Twitter. If you don't use Twitter that much, I'd still appreciate if you took the time to follow me on it, not because I'm desperate for you to see me shitposting about gaming, but more so I want to get verified. And the reason I want to get verified is to further defend against that twat that is trying to use my good name to steal game codes from developers. I still get emails from 1 or 2 devs a week, or tweets, DMs, saying, hey, we got contacted by this email, this doesn't match the one on your YouTube, is this legit? And I have to take time out of my day to go through them and say, no, sorry, this is a scammer who is a twat, has no ethics, and is a thief, who I hope gets what's coming to them. And I think it would be a lot better if I had a verified account, because then they could trust me if they contact me via there. Now, the best way to contact me is via my business email, obviously, because then you're guaranteed to get an answer from me. But having a verified Twitter would help with that, I think. I know Twitter's kind of on the way out right now, but I think that would help protect the devs who are almost getting scammed. Thankfully, most of them know better, because of so many people being unethical and trying to steal from them. Long before someone tried to imitate me, it was a thing that happened. So thankfully they're wising up. Anytime there's a seminar for indie devs about contacting YouTubers, they're always warned about this kind of thing happening. So thankfully, they're not going to be getting much, if anything. Indie devs in general are smarter than that. But I would still like to try and help them by defending against it in every way possible, because Google sure as hell doesn't help when someone's trying to steal your good name. So there is that. I believe you can submit a case to be verified like once every month. It's a bit like getting partnership on Twitch, I guess. You can keep trying, although it helps if you get lots of interaction, you know how it is. Anyway, so as far as the YouTube side, very short series on Resident Evil 7 because it's not a particularly long game, plus I knew what I was doing because it was New Game Plus. So Resident Evil 7 has finished on the channel. It was 9 parts. Pardon me, didn't prove that popular, and I assume that's just because 1, everyone's playing it, and 2, it's more survival horror than any Resident Evil game has been, and a lot of people don't like watching horror games. It's really only the second one I've ever covered on the channel outside of Until Dawn, and I would say it's got a lot more jump scares than Until Dawn did. So, I understand. It was just a little thing. I liked the game, I wanted an excuse to replay it. Being able to kind of fold it into what I'm doing for a living, that helps find the time. So, it's there if anyone wants to watch it. The jump scares they're frequent early on, and then the later you get in the game, the less there are. So I would say even if you don't like horror, you can kind of get past it into the better stuff. It's a very good game though. I do recommend it. It's also possible people just didn't want to watch me play it because they want to play it for themselves and avoid spoilers. Other than that, Nioh has started on the channel. It's Dark Souls with Samurai. It's basically a perfect clone by Team Ninja of Ninja Gaiden fame. They're a bit more into Japanese history, I guess. It takes real life events and real life people from English and Japanese history and then puts a magic twist on it. And it's a lot more coherent, and it's a little vague in places, but by no means is it Dark Souls level of incoherent gibberish story. I like it. I like the story. The gameplay in terms of like the levels is fine. I would say the bosses are, if they feel a bit throwaway, and also if you don't like human bosses, it wouldn't be for you because 9 out of 10 bosses are humanoid. I've only seen like 2 bigger ones. So if you're not into fighting, having like proper sword duels with people who kinda cheat, kinda like they have unblockables and all, you know, the Dark Souls, every fault and positive from the Dark Souls games is in Nioh. So for better or worse, it's just, you might as well treat it as a Souls game. So if you're looking for another Souls game and you don't mind samurai and it being set in Japan, what have you, and essentially having a Bankai, it's worth checking out. Maybe watch a couple of parts of my playthrough if you're interested. If it looks like something you want to play for yourself, by all means go do it. I'm enjoying it so far. It has some issues, it has the same issues as a Dark Souls game. I'll probably stick with it. I have heard it's quite long though. Also, you'll be seeing this on the day, I think, or maybe the day after, that Rise of the Tomb Raider VODs coming over from Twitch are starting up on the YouTube channel. Because the schedule is so tightly packed right now, they're just uploaded as however long I played it for on a stream. So like the first part's 2 hours, and then after that they're about 1 hour and 40. It's a really, really good game that I don't remember why I missed at the time it was released, because I really enjoyed the last remake as well. I think maybe it was around about the time of Monster Hunter came out, so that I just had no time or room to fit it in. It is getting fitted in now. If you don't want to watch it on the stream side, it'll be on the YouTube side. Just keep in mind it's pretty delayed, because again, I wanted to get Resident Evil done first. So that's it in terms of new series starting. Coming soon, you're hearing this on the day or the day before. Yeah, it's out on Tuesday worldwide, I think. Horizon Zero Dawn is out. I plan to play it. I don't know if I can fit it in right now. I don't know if people would want to see me play it in terms of like off live stream recording or on live stream. It's a bit like Tomb Raider in terms of how it plays, so if people take well to Tomb Raider, and they have been so far, I might, or it might just be something that I play in my own time. Apparently it's doing really well. I like the look of it, robot dinosaurs and all that, so I do plan to try it in some capacity, maybe not at launch, we'll see. Into March, Monster Hunter Double Cross is also out, so I'll be playing a lot of that when it's there. It won't just be Saturdays for Monster Hunter, they'll probably get fitted in, at least at the start, multiple times a week. The Dark Souls 3 DLC is also out at the end of March. We'll be doing that with El and Cort most likely, assuming El can get a new character leveled up to be appropriate for it. At the very least, Cort plans to play it, and I think Reaper's playing it as well, so there will be people to play it with me, and I plan to play it co-op because it's the only way to make Dark Souls DLC enjoyable. I think that's it in terms of new things happening in March that I have planned. That doesn't necessarily mean there won't be anything else. In terms of existing series, Binding of Isaac Anti-Birth is continuing, Let's Look At's are continuing, in fact I'm recording 2 more after I finish recording this. Gungeon is continuing, it's scattered though, I'm recording it a lot less to try and keep Salt down, so I'm not recording 2 or 3 episodes in one sitting anymore, it's usually just the one in between Isaac episodes or just before or just after. That's what I'm doing for now. The supply drop update has been patched once, it just got patched the other day there. Nothing too definitive in terms of what it did, it didn't do anything I wanted it to yet. But there is also that person who has said they're working on a mod and would be willing to try and change the game the way I said, and if that happens, that's fantastic, and I'll definitely let you all know if that happens. So that's continuing. Overwatch is continuing now and then. We're right in the middle of the new ARG for the next character or characters. You might already have seen them by now because they'll probably launch on the PTR on Tuesday. I'll keep playing it. We went out, or I went out of my way to play it outside of a Patreon poll and Twitch sub poll the other day there, and I made a silent promise to myself that I wouldn't complain out loud. I'd complain silently, maybe even say grumble grumble, but I wouldn't complain out loud about anything. I'd ignore it and just talk to chat if I was annoyed. And I think it worked better. You'll be seeing that episode on... You'll be seeing it on the 2nd of March, which is Thursday. If you gave up on the Overwatch VODs because of salt levels or constant complaining about the awful meta, give that one a try. It's episode 119, 2nd of March, first video up, and see if you like just the banter better, because I was actively trying to change, let's say. It's also worth pointing out, Overwatch combined with the supply drop update, I have genuine complaints about both. I feel that you're allowed to complain about something you don't like, but you can do it to a point where it becomes annoying to listen to. And I would say that the reason I was focusing so intently on the bad parts of each, despite liking both, was probably exacerbated by the fact that the house I was hunting for was bought out from under me a month or two just before I put a bid in. And I was obviously upset about that. Now, that didn't create the problems I have with Overwatch and Gungeon, but I think it made me focus on them more than I normally would. It took away my happy demeanour, even, or the sarcastic side, and instead made it cynical and bitter. So I'm actively trying to avoid that now. I'm getting over it. There'll be other houses. It's just annoying, and I feel like that's what made me focus on the negative throughout February rather than the positive. I will be addressing that as we go forwards, hence why I'm asking you to try out that again, and maybe also try out some Gungeon episodes recorded in the tail end of February, after the most recent Inside Baseball one, for instance. Try those out, see if you like them any better, and you can let me know. In general, I did have just a talking point about input. This is your chance to influence my channel, or Twitch streams as well. What would you like to see change, if anything? What would you like to see more of? What would you like to see less of? Would you like more cooperative stuff? Would you like more solo stuff? If you want solo stuff, do you want it so that it's something I'm familiar with ahead of time? Because people were very receptive, those who did watch the Resident Evil stuff. They apparently enjoyed it more because I was able to talk through what was happening, and because I knew what was happening, I wasn't engrossed in the story as much, so I poked fun at it a little bit more. That's not, again, to say that it's bad. I really, really liked Resident Evil 7. But I was able to poke fun at it because I wasn't engrossed. Like, we're playing Tomb Raider, I'm really enjoying the story. It's hard to poke fun at it other than Lara constantly heavily breathing like she's a constant asthmatic, because I'm interested in what happens. So it's a different type of commentary as a result. So that type of thing, this is your chance to give me some general input. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to address anything you say in the next channel update, but I'll read it and I might internalize it and try and work on any constructive criticism I receive going forward. So we have that. Let's see, that covers that, coming soon. Yep, done that one. We have a new emote on Twitch, just a small thing to mention. So again, if you are interested, you can sub to my Twitch channel. I'm streaming 4 hours a day, 6 out of 7 days a week. I'm aware that for most of my audience, because you're in America, the times don't match up very well. However, I would appreciate it if you would consider subbing to my Twitch channel. It does cost $4.99 in dollars a month, unless you have Amazon Prime. Then you can get to sub for free. If you are using Amazon/Twitch Prime to sub to me or anyone else, please do keep in mind it does not auto-renew. That has now been confirmed to me. It does not auto-renew. So if you, when Twitch Prime got added, swung by my channel just to say, hey, here, have it, because I'm not using it on anyone else, even if you don't plan to use the emotes you get access to or hang around, I'd appreciate it if you remember that every month it turns itself off. And if you want it to come back and spend it on me again, I'd be very much appreciative of that, because we still aren't back to the just over 300 subs we were at prior to me getting ill and not being able to stream for a few days. So that is still the goal. I might try and think of some goal to associate to that. It would only be a little one. It wouldn't be a 12-hour stream, because we're not that far off getting back to there. But in general, that is something I wanted to mention. Twitch Prime not auto-renewing. Another just general reminder as well, I have a PO box. If you want to send me something via snail mail, as someone like, say, Supernova Fruitloop has done multiple times, by all means consider it. It's there. Do not send anything that requires a signature. A PO box is not manned. There is not someone there to sign for anything. Make sure you don't send anything that's signed for. It'll get returned and I'll never see it, and there's nothing I can do about that. That's just the way PO boxes work. So make sure it's not signed for. You can track it by all means, but don't sign for it. Final reminder well, it's not a reminder, it's a mention. By the time you see this, a competition will have started that I'm running just via Twitch, and the reason I'm running it just via Twitch is because, one, I want it to benefit my most dedicated viewers, and two, YouTube has a lot of rules regarding giveaways, and they're so it's tedious to dance around them, and I want to make sure I'm not doing anything wrong or against the rules. So anyway, I'm going to be running a competition via Twitch. There's a few different ways you can enter. It'll be running by the time you hear this. It's running until the start of the second week of March. I'm giving away... I can show you, in fact. Bear with me. I'm giving away my sealed EU PS4 edition of Overwatch that came with the collector's edition. I believe inside of it is a code to give you all the Origins edition stuff, but I'm not 100% on that because, again, it's still sealed. I have no intention of playing it on PS4. I play on PC. So I'm giving that away. I don't think it matters that it's EU, because Overwatch or PS4 is a region free and you can just change your server region, I think. I'm not 100% on that. And I'm also throwing in the postcards that came with the collector's edition, because again, I don't really have anything to do with them. I was going to give them away as part of 100,000 subs. Everyone kept on saying, yeah, just keep them. I have nothing to do with them, so I'm just throwing them in. I'll throw in a signed business card as well. So that is running via Twitch. I'll be spamming that link on Twitch if you want a chance to win those. The winner will be randomly selected from all the entries, and as I say, there's multiple ways to enter. I'm using a site called... hang on. It's called Gleam.io, which is a nice little thing for hosting competitions. So I think that's covered it. Open to input regarding what you'd like to see more or less of on the channel. Told you the news about what's starting and stopping on the channel. Really, in terms of stuff that's stopping, it's just Resident Evil, and that's because I finished it. Oh, the XCOM 2 playthrough that has all the DLC and mods, that'll be wrapping up fairly soon. I think a couple more recording schedules and we'll have that finished, and that'll clear out some of the schedule space that I need to continue uploading more Isaac, more Gungeon, and then more Monster Hunter as we're into March. Thank you again for all the support, just for watching as well. I'm yammering because I'm trying to find a more erudite way to express my gratitude in a way that doesn't sound like I'm just recycling something I've said before, but it is greatly appreciated. Just watching my content is enough. For those of you who go above and beyond, either via Twitch Prime, Twitch normal subs, Patreon, you don't use ad block, all these people, you are helping make this possible for me and every other content creator, especially in times where I don't really want to go into too much into detail, because again, I'm not really in the loop yet. Some bad stuff is happening at Maker, who is my multi-channel network, so it's affecting me and many other content creators who are under their banner right now. So who knows what's going to happen in March. I guess we'll talk about it more then when I know more about what the hell is going on with that. Thank you for listening this long, and for everything in general. Everything. I shall see you next month for another channel update. Ta-ta for now.